Welcome back to our station. In this edition, we are going to look back to what happened in the Badminton Asia Championship. As we are staring right now here at this screen, we do have our champions. In the women's doubles, we have Tan Ming and Liu Shengshu. Not really a surprise, as we have already predicted in our previous video that they would definitely be among the top four. Chen Yufei, we have correctly predicted that she will be the champion for this edition. But there are a few surprises, especially in the men's doubles category, men's singles as well as mixed doubles. So let's dive deep into this video. Let's begin with the men's singles category. The expectation exceeders, we have Loh Ken Yew, Kunlavut, and Lu Guangzhou. Now, I think Kunlavut has made, although I have put him as the expectation exceeder, but it really isn't really a big surprise because we all know that Kunlavut tends to perform in the major tournaments. He has already have a silver Olympic medal. He's the reigning world champion, and now to add to his collection, he is also the Asian champion, the very first one from Thailand, as usual. So kudos to him. The next expectation exceeder would definitely be Loh Ken Yew, specifically for his ability to create an upset by defeating Shi Yuqi in the quarterfinals, the top seed. I think Shi Yuqi has been quite in the dominant form this year, so kudos to Loh Ken Yew for having able to defeat him. But although he was defeated in the finals against Kunlavut, but still a very uh, good and deep run for Loh Ken Yew. The third player I would like to salute is Lu Guangzhou, who has made it all the way to the semi-finals, if I'm not wrong. So Lu Guangzhou hasn't had it easy. Right from the beginning, he has to overcome tough opponents such as Pranoy, followed by Lin Chunyi. Then, surprisingly, a very easy and dominant win against Jonathan Christie. I'm not too sure what happened to Jonathan, but this is really a surprise and a major upset as well, which is why I'm putting him as one of the expectation exceeder. And he went on to defeat uh, Li Shifeng, his countrymate, right? Yeah, so that is Lu Guangzhou. Before going to the final where he was defeated by Kunlavut. So Lu Guangzhou, a surprise silver medalist for us in this men's singles category. The disappointers would definitely be Wen Hongyang, who has been in very good form recently. I think having won the Swiss Open, if I'm not wrong. And he was playing really, really well, and I was rooting for him to go all the way, but he was surprisingly knocked out by up and coming youngster from Indonesia, Alwi Farhan, in the very first round itself. And if you look at the score, it's pretty emphatic. Followed by, of course, Jonathan Christie, who was so easily defeated in the quarterfinals by Lu Guangzhou. Next up in the women's singles category, I do have one candidate here who has exceeded my expectation, namely Sim Eugene. And the very first or maybe second round, I think it's the first round. Yeah, first round. She was actually able to defeat Wang Ziyi, right, the reigning champion, the reigning Asian champion. But if you think about it, it is not too surprising as well because Sim Eugene has also defeated Wang Ziyi before in the one of the decisive matches in the final match against Korea in the previous Uber Cup edition. So Sim Eugene definitely has the potential to defeat Wang Ziyi. And she went on to defeat Natsuki Nidaira before running out of gas in the semi-finals against Chen Yufei. So This also gives quite a huge sign of relief for South Korea because they can now think of reducing their over reliance on An Se-yong to do the job for them. The disappointer, I also have only one, definitely the reigning Asian champion, the defending champion Wang Ziyi, who was actually defeated by Sim Eugene in the very first round itself. In the men's doubles category, undoubtedly the expectation exceeders are the two finalists. Let's begin with Chen Boyang and Liu Yi. They have been always living by the edge, right? Edging all of their opponents, I would say. Right, in the very first round, nobody expected them to defeat Sabah and Moreza, but they managed to do so. 21-19 in the decider. They followed it off by defeating half of the reigning double Olympic champion Wang Chelin and his new partner. Also by the slightest of margin in the second game, 22-20. In the quarterfinals, once again, they have edged us. This time, the world number 2, Goh Sifei and Nur Izzuddin, in a very tightly contested match. Again, 22-20 in the rubber games. So, and in the semi-finals, they have upstaged yet another strong pairing from Indonesia. This time, Roli Kanando and Bagas Maulana, who was the reigning. Yeah, so definitely again another rubber games before eventually, of course, losing out to Aaron Chia and So Wei in the finals. But still, a silver medal is a surprise silver medalist for sure. As for Aaron Chia and So Wei, they had it quite easily in the first two rounds. But in the quarterfinals, we do expect them to struggle, especially against Fajar Alfian and Rian Arianto. But they have made it surprisingly easy. Just took them quite a very short amount of time, maybe about 30 minutes or so, to dismantle the former world number 1 from Indonesia. And they followed that with yet another convincing win. I think the most convincing win that they have ever had against the Olympic silver medalists from China, Liang Weikeng and Wang Chang, who has a very good head-to-head record against them. If I'm not wrong, it's 8 against 2, if I'm not wrong. So kudos to Aaron Chia and So Wei for making this so easy. Of course, in the finals, they did well. They used the right tactic. They deployed the right strategy to disarm Chen Boyang and Liu Yi in the finals. So kudos to Aaron Chia and So Wei, our new Asian champion, our former world champion as well. So really kudos to them. Nevertheless, we also have some disappointers. Let's begin with Kim Won Ho and Seo Seong Jae. Well, I have actually handpicked them to be the champion for this edition, but unfortunately, they were knocked out in the second round, I think, if I'm not wrong, by another strong pair from Indonesia, Fikri and Daniel Martin. But it's quite a commendable 3 games kind of match. So, well, it happens in competitive men's doubles match, especially when you are facing strong opponents like Fikri and Daniel Martin. Now, the other major disappointer is definitely Man Wei Chong and T Kai Woon. They have had a very favorable draw due to upon the last minute withdrawal of He Jiting and Ren Xiangyu, if I'm not wrong. They were in the same quarters, if I'm not wrong. So this has given them a very clear pathway all the way to at least the quarterfinals, but unfortunately, they couldn't even clear the pathway of Liu Kuang-heng and Yang Po-han, losing in the rubber games. So we all know that Man Wei Chong and Ti Kai Wen has had a very healthy head-to-head record against any Chinese Taipei pair, any pair from Chinese Taipei. But unfortunately, I guess I watched that match and I guess they crumble under the pressure, making a lot of mistakes, unforced errors, poor rotation play. So yeah, all those are combinations of a recipe for disaster in the making. So yeah, that's for the men's doubles. For the women's doubles, I do not have any pair which is really out of my expectation. The finalists, Tan Ning and Liu Xingshu, against my pick of the champion, which is Shiharu Shida and Ami Matsuyama, has happened as scripted, as predicted. But the only thing is that Tan Ning and Liu Xingshu was playing just too exceptionally well, and Shida and Nami has no way to answer them. Their firepower, their control, their command, their dominance. Yeah. But in terms of the disappointer, I do have one to name, namely the Kim Hae-jung and Kong Hee-yong. Now, I have to mention that in the women's doubles, we also have the withdrawal of Baek Hana and Lee So-hee. So that withdrawal could have shaken things up, but it is what it is. Kim and Kong was defeated by Zhang Shushen and Zheng Yu, who also did pretty well. They made it all the way to the semi-finals, uh, beyond my expectation. So, and in fact, this is actually the last international competitive tournament for Zheng Yu. So, bronze is not bad a medal for as a parting gift. I would also like to mention that in the men's doubles, we also have withdrawal of the Satwik and Chirag Shetty, so that has also benefited quite a number of pairs, so shaken things up. But yeah, moving on to the last category, the expectation exceeders, we have definitely two outstanding pairs of the tournaments. The first one is, you can see here, Fajar and Felicia. What a run they have made. They have survived the onslaught of the very decent and fast improving Chinese pair, Chen Xing and Zhang Shi, with a 21-19 win in the decider. They followed that up with another very dominating win against the top Malaysian mixed doubles pair of Goh Soon Huat and Siobhan Jamie Lai, straight games. But eventually they ran out of steam in the semi-finals. Still a very credible performance, losing out to the eventual silver medalist of Hiroki Midorikawa and Natsu Saito. Now, Jaffa and Felicia has been one of the mixed doubles pair that I'm going to pay a very close attention to, simply because they have started to win many tournaments, the smaller ones, for the past 6 months, and they are definitely going to be the next pair to which Indonesia can rely upon. Of course, finally, no one can expect this. Our new Asian champion from from Hong Kong, Tang Chunman and Se Yunxin. Well, they are the fact that they played together in this tournament itself is already a surprise to me, because at one time they were saying that they are going to part ways. Fortunately they did not. This is the first tournament that they played together. They barely practiced together, and look at that. In the semi-finals, they have upset one of my top picks for the top four, Jiang Zhenbang and Wei Yaxing, in the semi-finals. Strong straight games wins, and they top it off with a memorable win against Hiroki Midorikawa and Natsu Saito, who has failed to end the wait for Japan. I think more than 30 years wait for a new Asian champion from Japan. So really hats off to Tang Chunman and Se Yunxin, and also their coach Tan Bin Chen from Malaysia, right? I think Tan Ming has been doing wonders, has been conjuring magic for Tang Chunman especially. This is the third straight tournament for Tang Chunman and the third straight championship for Tang Chunman, whereby the previous two championship was won with Ng Ziyao. So respect to the coach, respect to this evergreen Hong Kong pair. Now the disappointers are definitely from China, uh, especially in the mixed doubles category where China has easily 4 to 5 credible, strong pair. And in fact, from 2016 until 2024, they have always been the champion, if I'm not wrong, or at least they are the finalists, right, in the Asian Championship. But not this time, where we do not have any Chinese finalists at all. Now, my handpicked champion, Feng Yanze and Huang Dongping, they were ousted by Hiroki Midorikawa. They were having a clean sheet before, I think clean slate, head-to-head record. They were never defeated by this Japanese pair, and that defeat came in this tournament. So quite a huge blow to the Chinese fans, especially because even they are all reigning All England champion, Guo Xinghua and Chen Fanghui was also surprisingly knocked out by a Chinese Taipei pair in the very first round itself. So definitely a disastrous outing for China in the mixed doubles category. But nevertheless, they still managed to conquer the women's singles category, the women's doubles category. Yep. So, and they do have medalists in all categories. So that is something that we should respect as well. So that is all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please comment down below.